Okay, well today I'm going to have a quick look at the 1952 Ford Anglia's exhaust. Now I noticed last time out, and you may have seen the video already, that the exhaust was a little bit chuffy at the front. And it seems that it is blowing around here and around here. Because if you look closely, it's actually quite sooty. So what I'm going to do is whiz off these two brass nuts and just clean it up where the joint is and see if I can get it to seal a little bit better. The top of the downpipe flares out and the bottom of the manifold flares out, and this clamps it all together. That's the theory. So I might just have to clean up all the surfaces a little bit, put a bit of exhaust sealant in. I've actually been pretty organised and gone and bought some, and then we'll just see if I can stop it blowing. I've put a trolley jack underneath. That'll just support the exhaust so that when I remove these two nuts in the bracket, or the clamp rather, then it won't drop and strain the mountings further back on the exhaust. And it also means that you can move the exhaust around a little bit, jack it up a little bit if it needs be, and position the downpipe in exactly the right position so that when you put the clamp on, it should all seal it well. So that's the idea anyway. So let's go and find something that fits these nuts. It's just started to rain. Marvellous. Well, the last time I did this job on the sidevalve Ford, it was my E83W pickup, and this was years ago. And on those, the engine is offset to the passenger side, and it's very tight getting at some of this stuff on this side of the engine. But fortunately, the Anglia has the engine in a normal position, so it's not too bad to get at, apart from this here, which is in the way a little bit, but compared to a modern car, it's a bit of a doddle. So I've cleaned these threads. If I cleaned up this thread, it was a bit rusty beforehand. Let's just whiz this off. Like I say, there's a trolley jack underneath just supporting the exhaust, because you don't want it swinging in the air and relying on just the mountings that are further back, because you risk damaging all sorts of things. So these nuts are brass, so there's no risk of them being corroded onto the steel threads. The greatest risk is me losing them all together, so stash them over here. And then there's no risk at all of me losing anything, he says. It's raining properly now, which on a tin roofed garage is just perfect for trying to record what you're talking about. So let's see. That's the nuts off. Let's go and find something just to give this a bit of a shake, and we'll get this clamp off. There we go. So just carefully pull that off. There's one half, and you can see how it forms the seal. You can also see where it's been blowing as well. Oops, there goes the light. Right. You can see exactly where it's been blowing, quite sooty. We'll clean all that up in the vise and then just see if we can make it seal properly. We'll also make sure that the downpipe here is properly lined up with the manifold. If not, then we can adjust things a little bit on the trolley jack and just get it in exactly the right position, clean all this up, and then try and seal it up a bit better than it was before. Yeah, as you can see, that's definitely been blowing for a little while. There's plenty of soot build up in there, so that should all clean up quite nicely. Same on this side. If these things blow for too long, and what you find is the top of the downpipe that fits in here burns away. But looking at the exhaust just now, it seems to be okay, so I think we've caught it in time. It's lovely out there now. Welcome to British summer. If you're wondering where the Morris is at, I have been progressing with that. I've been looking at the brakes, etc., and I plan to do a video about that fairly soon. But for the time being, let's just concentrate on the Ford one thing at a time, because otherwise I'll get nothing finished. Okay, well those are both a bit cleaner now. So let's go and clean up the top of the downpipe and make sure we get as good a seal as we possibly can. Right, I lifted up the exhaust downpipe slightly using a trolley jack down there, so that it's fully closed up onto the manifold. You can see where the exhaust has been blowing, so we need to clean all that up. Just make sure it's nice and clean all the way around. Won't take much, but it could stop it sealing if you don't do that. And I think it should seal up okay. And it stopped raining. I'd also like to find a couple of spring washers to go on here, because there were none on there, and I think it would be a good idea. So let's see if we've got anything in one of these little boxes. Obviously we don't want anything shiny and plated. Must be something here somewhere. That'll do, won't it? Nice old stock job. Some real tiddlers in here. Oh, right. Now, that'll do. Not quite a matching pair, but I'll just continue having a route and see if I can find another one of these exactly the same. If not, I'll use that one. Yep, I think those two will do. That one can go back in the box of tricks for another day. Right, let's go and find some copper grease to put on these threads. Okay, all I'm going to do now is put a thin smear of this exhaust assembly putty paste type stuff. Just put a thin smear of that inside here and on the other half, which is over here. And then we'll just gently clamp it together, do the nuts up evenly, and hopefully it'll seal okay. I will run the engine for a short while just to get some warmth through, and that helps the stuff go off. So let's see if that works or not. Obviously, being brass, we can't tighten these up too much, but so we don't use a big spanner. We can't get a ring key in there because of the proximity of the nut to the clamp. So that kind of guarantees that you can't go too mad with the tightening up. I'll wipe off this excess paste when I've finished. It's nice of the exhaust paste manufacturers to make it colour coded to a grey car. That was a nice touch, so thank you for that. Well, that's all back together and looking smart, so let's see if it actually works as well as it looks. Just let that warm through a little bit now, and that will just set the exhaust putty. Certainly seems quiet enough from this end. Well, I think I will just switch that off and let it dry off fully. I think that's a job to tick off the list. So, just a very quick instalment, this one. Thanks for watching. If you like these old Fords as much as I do, please consider giving the video a like and subscribing to the channel, because there'll be more videos about the Ford and other classic cars, British cars, etc. coming along very soon. So thanks for watching. Well, not only is the Ford fixed, but the sun's come out as well. All is well with the world.